The woman had just boarded the plane when she noticed something strange. This was the only flight scheduled for the day. Yet, inside the cabin there were only a handful of passengers. As soon as she sat down, the overhead light above her began to flicker non-stop. The man beside her noticed her unease. He explained it was normal. When the engine started up, the lights tended to flicker. But Katerina wasn't the only one who felt unsettled. An elderly woman sitting in the back also grew nervous, so much so that she called for the flight attendant. Katerina rushed over to calm her down. It turned out she was a psychologist. After taking 2 stress relief pills, the old woman seemed to relax. Katerina returned to her seat and fastened her belt. But soon she heard a strange sound overhead again. The man next to her acted like he heard nothing at all. The sound echoed for a long while without stopping. Katerina began to panic. She rushed into the restroom to take her medicine and splashed cold water on her face, trying to steady her nerves. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from outside the door, and in her daze, she found herself back in her childhood bedroom. She could hear her mother's voice drifting through the room. She followed the sound and pulled the door open, only to discover she was still on the plane. Yet everything she just experienced had felt so real. That was when the strange events began unfolding one after another. Katerina felt a presence behind her watching her every move. When she turned to the flight attendant suddenly appeared at her back and told her to return to her seat immediately. The plane cruised calmly through the midnight sky. Passengers slowly drifted off to sleep, but then a strange red glow began flashing outside the window. The flight attendant sat in her seat as if nothing was wrong, and even smiled eerily. In her dream, Katerina was once again a child. Her mother had cooked her favorite meal, but as she sipped the soup, she noticed her mother's reflection in the mirror, her body drenched in blood, her figure twisting in unnatural ways, until she revealed a terrifying and aged face. Katerina jolted awake on the plane, relieved it had only been a dream. Just then the plane hit turbulence, shaking violently in the sky. An elderly passenger in the back suddenly collapsed with a heart attack. Katerina ran over to help. She began CPR, trying desperately to save him, but in that moment the man's eyes snapped open, and he grabbed her by the collar. Katerina stumbled back in terror, as the man fell to the floor convulsing uncontrollably. Passengers rushed in panic to hold him down. It seemed only Katerina could see the strange and horrifying visions.